Hello dear learners, welcome back to this new video in which we shall see another numerical to be analyzed by the slope deflection method. So today we are going to see a 3-span continuous beam which is fixed at D and which is simply supported at A, B and C. You can see the value of moment of inertia is also differing for each and every span, and the loads acting are 2-point loads and one UDL at a middle span. So for analyzing this particular beam, as we know what are the various steps to be understood and to be implemented for the analysis of this particular continuous beam. So the first is to find out the fixed moments. Now considering an individual span AB, BC, and depending upon the loading acting on that, we are going to find out which standard case does it resembles. So this is a standard case of a point load with a eccentricity. Is it okay? For that we know what is the fixed moment. Accordingly we are going to judge for each and every span, and we are going to select an individual formula for finding out the fixed moment, and after that we are going to substitute the values of the loads and the spans, and then we are going to get the what we can say fixed moment finally. Is it okay? So here I have found out all the fixed moment, and after finding out the fixed moment, we know we have to understand what are the various uh, displacements as an unknown in this. So at B point and at C point there will be the displacement in terms of the rotation due to the various types of loading. So at B and at C there will be the rotation. So these are the two basic unknowns which are to be found out by the analysis of the slope deflection method. Now after finding out the fixed moment, the second thing is to understand what are the boundary condition for this particular problem. So here we can see joint D is a fixed, so as it is a fixed, so there will be no any rotation happening about that particular joint D. So that is why theta D is equal to 0. Another thing which we have to understand is related to the sinking of the support. Is there any displacement happening externally on the support system? So in this case fortunately it is equal to 0. That means delta for span AB as well as for BC and CD are equal to 0, as there is no any external displacement happening of the supports. Is it okay? So these are the two initial values which are to be worked out from the boundary condition for this continuous beam, which will be further used for the analysis by the slope deflection method when we shall be dealing with the governing equation of this slope deflection method. Is it okay? Now the third thing which we have to understand at this moment itself, which will be later on used, and that is the equilibrium condition of the total beam. So here you can see as joint A is simply supported, so moment about that particular point has to be equal to 0. Similarly about point B, MBA plus MBC should be equal to 0, and same is the case with this C support. Is it okay? So at C support MCB plus MCD should be equal to 0. So these are the prima facie values which will be further used for the analysis of this particular continuous beam by the slope deflection method. So here let us move ahead and understand how the further analysis is to be carried out. So I have once again enumerated all the boundary conditions for this particular continuous beam. Now it's the time to apply the governing equation for the various span for this continuous beam. So the very first span is a span AB. In this we know that what we have to do, if I have to find out the final value of MAB, it will be the effect of all which is present into this particular system, or I have to assume the various rotations depending upon the support condition assumptions, and we are going to work out the various parameters required for the development of the governing equation. So here you can see first of all I have taken a bare beam with the applied load where there will be the fixed moment MAB bar and MBA bar. Then I have considered A joint as a hinge joint which will allow the rotation by the magnitude of theta a, because of which there will be induction of a moment of magnitude 4ei by L into theta a, which will be half to be carried over on the far end. Is it okay? So half of the carried over of moment about point A due to rotation theta a is equal to 2ei by L theta a. Is it okay? Next, I am going to assume that there will be allowed rotation about point B due to the assume what we can say support, that is a hinge support. So due to that hinge support, this beam is going to rotate by theta b, because of which there will be introduction of a moment of magnitude 4ei by L theta b, and we know half of this is to be carried over to the far end. Is it okay? So that is 2ei by L theta b. And the last effect which we have to take into account is the sinking of that particular support. Is it okay? So here I have assumed B is going to sink in the downward direction. So these are all what we can call it as a probable displacements occurring in this. First displacement is due to the applied load, second is the displacement due to the rotation about point A, next is rotation about point B, and third type of a displacement is the translation which is occurring at point B due to the sinking effect. So here you can see 6ei delta by L square is the rotation happening due to the sinking effect about point B, and the signs are both same for the rotation about B and about point A. So here you can see anticlockwise rotation of magnitude this much is same about this particular A joint. So this is not true when we deal with the sinking of the support. So here the rotation which is going to take place and the moment induced due to the rotation is not carried over half of it. So here same value is to be transferred on the far end, as this doesn't happen with the rotation when it is a what we can say hinge assumed reaction or the support. Is it okay? So this is what is the understanding of the various effects to be taken into account for the development of the governing equation for span AB. So this is what we have as a governing equation. So in this I have considered everything: MAB bar plus 4ei by L plus 2ei by L theta b, and then 6ei delta by L square, and you can see the directions of those rotations. So this is anti-clockwise, so here it is taken as a anti-clockwise, this 4ei by L, and here it is plus clockwise because it is clockwise. Is it okay? And similarly we are going to identify the sign convention to be chosen for the various induced moment due to the rotation and the sinking effect. So this is how we have worked out this governing equation, and we have substituted the values from what we have earlier worked out. So we have worked out the value of MAB bar, that comes out to be equal to minus 7.5, and then I have taken 2ei by L common outside, and in the bracket 2 theta a plus theta b, and as far as this theta delta is concerned, it is already equal to 0 because this is one of the boundary condition, no any sinking effect is going to take place. So that is why delta ab is equal to 0. Is it okay? So these are the various usage of the earlier things what we have discussed into the earlier slide. Is it okay? So we have worked out the final moment value as equation number 1. Similarly MBA is to be worked out, do the algebraic summation of all these, and I have worked out this equation, and I have substituted the various values which we have found out earlier, that is related to MBA bar and the value of theta b and theta c from the boundary condition. Is it okay? So here you can see both the terms are occurring, theta a and theta b, because no fixicity of the support was been assumed or is available for that particular joint A and B. Is it okay? So this is how we have worked out for span A, B. Now let us move ahead and take another span BC. So what we did earlier, we have done the algebraic summation of all the effects taken into account, and those effects are nothing but these are the displacements, first due to the imposed loading, next due to the assumed support condition. Is it okay? So this is how we have to develop the governing equation, and we have to substitute the values which we are occurring into the friction moment and the boundary condition. And after putting all these values into the governing equation of slope deflection, we have come up with the third equation, which is for MBC. Similarly, for the fourth equation, that it will be MCB, that also we have worked out from the same logic at a appropriate end. Is it okay? So this is how we have done the compilation of a slope deflection equation with the boundary condition and the friction moment. Now the last span is CD span. Is it okay? So on the same lines what we did earlier, we have compiled the various uh, equations, and that equations are equation number 5 and equation number 6. So what we did here, theta d was equal to 0 due to the fixicity about that particular joint D. So the slope about that particular point was equal to 0. Simply that boundary condition we have used here. As far as this is concerned, this has been already found out in the earlier slides. So substituting the boundary condition and the various friction moment into the governing equation, we got equation number 5 and equation number 6. So moving ahead, let us see what we have compiled. We have compiled or found out 6 various equation by the governing equation of slope deflection. So these are the 6 equations for friction moment about A, B, C and D. Is it okay? Now the next job is to apply the boundary condition, and already these boundary conditions are been discussed into the very first slide. Now it's time to apply the boundary conditions one by one. So let us start with joint A. So MAB, there already MAB has to be equal to 0 because it is a simple support. So I'm just going to take that appropriate equation of MAB and equate with equal to 0. So this equation number 1 is equated to 0. So I came up with another new equation in terms of the displacement at point A and at point B. So calling this equation as equation number A, let us move ahead with the second boundary condition, or rather equilibrium condition, MBA plus MBC is equal to 0. So from this we will be choosing one equation which is relevant to this particular condition. So that is MBA and MBC are to be simply added together. So MBA equation number 2 and MBC equation number 3 are to be added and simplified so as to get another equation number B, which will be in terms of theta B, theta A and theta C. So this is how we have worked out this another equation. Yet another third equilibrium condition is still remaining, and that is MCB plus MCD. Choose those two equations from here, do the summation of these two, so you will be getting the third equation number C in terms of B, theta B and theta C. So now we can see I have equipped with three new equations, equation A, B and C. So if I really study these three equations, so there I conclude I have three unknowns, theta A, theta B and theta C, and three equations. By solving these three equations, we'll be definitely getting the three unknowns present into this particular system. Is it okay? So these are the various values of the displacements occurring about point A, B and C. Is it okay? So all these values were nothing but these were the basic unknown present into this particular system. So there was a displacement about point A due to simple support, displacement about point B again due to simple support, and also displacement about point C due to the simple support. So all these various three displacements occurring in this continuous beams are being found out. Now using these various displacements, as we know all these equation number 1 to 6 are in terms of displacements which were unknown initially. Now we have worked out the values of this theta A, theta B and theta C. So one can imagine by putting all these various values of the displacement in equation number 1 to 6, we will be definitely getting the final values for the moment about that individual joint. So all these are the various values of displacement, all these are the prior equations which we have already found out. Now it's time to put the values of this displacement in equation number 1 to equation number 6. So take this equation number 1, put a value of theta A and theta B. So there it comes equal to 0, and this is valid. That means we are moving on the right lines, that MAB is equal to 0 because A support is a hinge support and there the bending moment has to be equal to 0. So this is true from this particular solution. Take second equation, put the value of theta A and theta B. So we are getting this particular MBA is equal to 41.12. On the same lines, take all individual equations and put the values of theta A, theta B and theta C, and ultimately you can see I have finally worked out the value of bending moment about point A, or we can say final moment about AB, BA, BC, CB and CD. So this was a basic need for the analysis of this particular structure by the slope deflection. So right now we have worked out the various unknowns, and those unknowns were displacements occurring about that individual support, and due to the imposed load what were the final moment occurring on that particular thing. Is it okay? So overall, combining all the effect, what will be the final moment about point A, B, C and D for that individual span A, B, B, C and C, D are been worked out. Now these values are to be further used for the further analysis. Now here we can see what are the obtained result, and from that I have constructed a new diagram, that is a final friction moment diagram. Now next job is to construct the another free bending moment diagram, and that is a free bending moment diagram considering an individual span and selecting that standard case. For finding out the free bending moment, we are going to work out the various values of free bending moment for the individual span. So here you can see MAB, span AB, free bending moment is WAB by L, BC WL square by 8, and for BC CD it is WL by 4. Is it okay? So by substituting the values of the loads and the span, we got these values, and from these values I have constructed this particular new diagram, that is free bending moment diagram. And the last step is to superimpose these two diagrams, and after superimposing, this difference between these two diagrams will always give you the resultant bending moment occurring in that particular individual span. So this red line is again a neutral axis, above that are positive and below that are negative bending moment. So once you find out the ordinate about this particular point, so here difference between these two will give you the final, what we can say, bending moment acting on that individual span. So this is how we have to work out the analysis for the continuous beam by the slope deflection method. So I hope you all are getting what is the procedure to be adopted, and just stick up with the procedure, you will be definitely getting the final solution for that particular sort of a continuous beam. So this is what we have for today, and in the next video lecture we shall be dealing with the analysis of one more continuous beam, in which we will be having one overhanging part.